It is 8:14 p.m. You open an email that looks boring enough to ignore. Coverage review. Action required. That tone again. Polite, administrative. Designed to sound routine while your stomach drops. You open the attachment. The roof must be replaced within 30 days, or your policy will be non-renewed. 30 days. Not because your house burned down. Not because the roof collapsed. Not because you filed some giant disaster claim. Because somewhere inside an underwriting system, your house stopped looking safe enough to insure. And now, one letter just turned your home into a deadline with shingles. Insurance letters almost never say panic. They say condition issue, exterior concern, underwriting review, material wear. But the translation is simple. Spend a huge amount of money fast, or lose the thing your mortgage requires you to have. That is why these notices hit differently from normal homeowner stress. A repair quote is one problem. A repair quote with a countdown is another. Now every part of your brain starts racing at once. How bad is the roof really? How did they decide this? Can they actually do this? What happens if I do nothing? What happens if I cannot afford it? The letter feels like a home maintenance issue. What it actually creates is a cash flow, compliance, and decision quality problem all at once. This is the part homeowners hate. You can live under a roof for years and still get blindsided by insurer logic. Maybe a storm came through. Maybe you filed one claim. Maybe you did not file anything and they used aerial imagery, third-party inspection data, or a contractor note in a database somewhere. Maybe the roof is old but functional, good enough for real life, not good enough for underwriting. That gap is where the anger lives. Your standard is, does this house still work? Their standard is, does this risk still fit our spreadsheet? And spreadsheets do not care whether you just rebuilt your emergency fund, changed jobs, had a baby, or finally stopped drowning after closing. The insurer would call this risk management. You call 3 roofers, hear numbers between 18 and 30,000, and suddenly it feels like organized pressure wearing business casual language. Because the timeline is what breaks you. If someone told you your roof will probably need work in 2 years, that is annoying but manageable. You budget, you shop around, you plan. If someone tells you 30 days or lose coverage, your options shrink instantly. Now contractors can smell urgency. Financing offers look less optional. Every decision gets more expensive because you are making it scared. That is the hidden tax of compressed deadlines. You do not just pay for the roof. You pay for the fact that fear ruins your negotiating position. The first quote is not the real panic. The cascade is. You hear 24,000 and your brain starts redistributing damage. Emergency fund, gone. Vacation money, gone. Car replacement plan, delayed. Credit card balance, rising. Investing, paused. Then the second-order questions arrive. If I finance this, what does that monthly payment do to the budget? If I do not finance it, what other protection do I destroy? If I patch instead of replace, will they accept it? If I replace it cheaply, am I buying another future problem? This is where homeownership stops feeling like ownership and starts feeling like triage. Not because roofs are new, because time pressure converts a maintenance issue into a liquidity event. This is the layer many people miss in the first hour. The insurance company is not the only audience. Your lender is in the background too. If coverage lapses, the mortgage servicer may not care why. They care that the collateral is no longer properly insured. That can trigger force-placed insurance. And force-placed insurance is one of the most insulting phrases in housing finance. Because it sounds neutral while meaning, we bought expensive coverage for our protection, then billed you for it. So the roof letter is not just a roof letter. It is a pressure triangle, insurer deadline, contractor pricing, mortgage consequences. That is why people spiral so fast. You are not making one decision. You are trying to prevent 3 different systems from getting more expensive at the same time. First, slow down the interpretation before you speed up the action. Read the exact notice. Is it cancellation, non-renewal, conditional renewal, or request for proof of repair? Those are not the same thing. Second, document the current condition. Photos, any recent inspections, any contractor statements, any proof the issue is narrower than a full replacement. Third, get multiple opinions fast, not one roofer, at least 3. Urgency makes single quote decisions expensive. Fourth, call an insurance broker, not just the insurer hotline. A broker thinks in alternatives. A hotline thinks in script logic. Fifth, ask the actual extension question. Not, can you help me? Ask, what documentation would support more time? That one sentence is better than panic because it turns emotion into process. There are 3 bad decisions that show up when people feel cornered. Decision 1, financing panic at terrible terms just to make the letter disappear. Decision 2, hiring the fastest contractor instead of the best documented one. Decision 3, assuming silence means flexibility. Housing systems punish avoidance. If you disappear, they do not interpret that as overwhelmed. They interpret it as non-compliant. The right move is boring but effective. Reply, document, compare. Escalate with specifics, protect liquidity where you can. You are trying to solve the roof without turning the rest of your finances into collateral damage. Sometimes the roof letter is just bad timing. Sometimes it is information. If your house keeps generating insurer friction, repeated exclusions, inspection issues, or repair deadlines you cannot absorb, that is not only a repair problem. It may be a property risk mismatch for your current income and cash buffer. That is a harder truth, but it matters. Because the goal is not to win one frantic month. The goal is to live in a house that does not keep converting normal life into emergency budgeting. At 8:14 p.m., the email looked boring. By 8:19, your roof had a deadline. By 8:27, your savings had a new enemy. That is the real psychology of homeowner insurance stress. The roof is physical, the panic is financial, and the countdown is what makes both feel bigger than they were yesterday. Welcome to StatPsyche,